13 motorcycles are on track to become illegal to ride soon, and most owners won't see it coming because their bikes are legal today. These machines won't get banned in one dramatic announcement. They get pushed off the road quietly. A failed inspection, a rejected renewal, a compliance flag over emissions labels, exhaust markings, or noise limits that suddenly start getting enforced. So in this video, I'm laying out the full list of 13 motorcycles that'll be illegal to ride soon, and I'll explain the specific reason each one ends up on the radar, what triggers the fail, what paperwork matters, and what you can do if you already own one. Watch till the end, because the final entries are the bikes most riders swear will never be touched. Number 13. Buell B12R Firebolt. Long before regulators cared about character, this machine existed to challenge assumptions about American performance. It mixed brute torque with sharp handling, and it asked riders to trust engineering over tradition. That gamble created loyalty among mechanics and long-distance riders, but it also created paperwork headaches that never fully went away. Built during a transitional emissions era, the Firebolt carries certification quirks that inspectors understand poorly today. Part support faded quietly, dealerships moved on, and ownership shifted toward enthusiasts willing to solve problems themselves. In stricter states, that independence now invites scrutiny rather than admiration. For experienced riders, the appeal was never fashion. It was the feeling of instant drive exiting corners, the stability under hard braking, and the pride of riding something misunderstood. Today, those same traits complicate ownership. Visual inspections question unfamiliar hardware. Replacement components require research instead of part counters. Insurance classifications still treat it like a sport bike, without acknowledging rider age. None of this erases the ride, but it changes the cost of staying legal. The Firebolt rewards knowledge, patience, and documentation, qualities older riders respect, but regulators rarely consider. At its core is an air-cooled 1203 cubic centimeter V-twin, delivering approximately 100 horsepower and 84 pound-feet of torque, carried on a dry weight of 375 pounds. Stopping power comes from a single perimeter front disc with an 8-piston caliper and rear disc, while fully adjustable Showa suspension manages control. Seat height measures 30.9 inches. An original MSRP was $11,995. Support fades first, but the next motorcycle shows what happens when popularity creates pressure instead. Number 12. Harley-Davidson V-Rod. Some motorcycles arrive too early for the world they land in. This one challenged tradition with liquid cooling, fuel injection, and a motor co-developed outside the usual circles. Older riders respected the shove, even if the styling split opinions. What never split opinion was how hard it pulled once rolling. The V-Rod felt engineered, not nostalgic, and that difference followed it into every inspection bay. Built during an emission shift, it now lives under rules written long after its launch. For owners who kept theirs close to stock, the bike remains reliable and deceptively fast. Problems begin with the common changes riders made years ago without a second thought. Exhaust swaps, intake kits, and fuel controllers were once normal upgrades. Today, those same parts trigger inspection failures and insurance questions. Replacement components are still available, but certification paperwork often is not. In states that check electronically and visually, the V-Rod attracts attention simply because it looks unfamiliar to inspectors trained on air-cooled twins. Many long-term owners now keep binders of receipts, original parts, and photos. Knowing compliance depends less on how the bike runs, and more on proving how closely it matches factory intent during increasingly strict annual inspections nationwide. Powered by a liquid-cooled Revolution V-twin, displacing 1,131 cubic centimeters, this platform delivers 115 horsepower alongside 74 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight comes in at approximately 606 pounds, with a seat height of 26 inches. Braking uses dual front discs and a single rear disc. Suspension is Showa front and rear, and the original starting price was $16,995. Performance alone could not protect the next machine once regulations caught up. If this list already challenged what you thought was safe, hit like to keep this conversation visible, subscribe for Rider Truth, and share your experience below. Number 11. Harley-Davidson Dyna Super Glide. There was a time when simplicity meant freedom, not liability. This bike earned its reputation, hauling riders to work, rallies, and back home without drama. It was never flashy, never fragile, and owners tuned it, rode it hard, and trusted it to keep running. The trouble now lives on paper, not pavement, as regulations begin caring more about configuration than condition. The Super Glide sits at the center of the twin cam era, and that timing matters. Many examples were modified early, when exhaust swaps and intake kits were considered routine maintenance. Those choices made sense then. Today, inspectors look at those same changes as violations. Visual inspections flag non-original components. Electronic checks question fuel delivery changes. Insurance categories treat it like a performance outlier, ignoring rider age and experience. None of this reflects how the bike behaves on the road, but all of it affects whether it stays registered. Older riders understand the irony. The machine itself remains honest, predictable, and easy to service. What changed is tolerance. Keeping. One legal now requires reversing years of personalization or proving factory compliance with documentation few riders saved. The Super Glide did nothing wrong. It simply lived long enough for the rules to change around it. Built around a twin-cam V-twin, measuring 1,449 cubic centimeters, output is approximately 63 horsepower with 84 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is roughly 645 pounds, and seat height stands at 26.8 inches. Braking consists of dual front discs and a single rear disc. Suspension uses conventional forks with dual rear shocks, and MSRP began at $12,999. Longevity becomes a liability with the bike that follows. While we're here, the riding gear and accessories I use are listed in the description if you want to grab the same setup. Number 10. Harley-Davidson Softail Deuce. Style once sold motorcycles before spreadsheets took over. This machine rode that moment perfectly, blending stretched lines with real road manners. And it spoke to riders who wanted presence without sacrificing comfort. The Deuce looked custom, straight from the floor, and many owners treated it that way. Chrome grew, bars changed, lights moved, and exhaust systems followed taste rather than rule books. At the time, nobody worried about inspections becoming this detailed. Years later, that design freedom is exactly where problems start. The Deuce sits in a gray zone between factory cruiser and custom build. Inspectors see altered lighting angles, modified rear fenders, and exhaust routing that no longer matches certification photos. None of those changes affect how it rides, but they affect how it is judged. Older riders know the difference. Paperwork does not. What once felt like personal expression now reads as non-compliance in states tightening equipment standards. There is also the reality of age. Rubber hardens, bushings wear, and tolerances drift. When inspectors combine age-related wear with visible customization, the bike gets extra attention. That scrutiny costs time, money, and patience. Keeping one legal increasingly means undoing years of personalization or limiting where it can be registered. The Deuce did not lose its soul. The system around it changed. Designed around clean lines and hidden suspension, this model uses a 1,449 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, producing approximately 60 horsepower and 79 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight sits near 660 pounds, with a seat height of 25.5 inches. Braking relies on a single front disc and rear disc. Suspension is telescopic forks with a hidden rear shock, and the original price was $15,995. Customization takes a sharper turn with the machine that comes after this. Number 9. Harley-Davidson EFXR. Long before marketing departments decided what a rider should want, this motorcycle earned respect the hard way. It carried weight properly, tracked straight at speed, and felt planted on rough pavement when others flexed. Mechanics trusted it. Long-haul riders depended on it. The FXR was never about polish. It was about structure, and that structure is exactly why so many are still on the road decades later. That longevity is now part of the problem. Many surviving examples have been restored, repainted, or rebuilt multiple times. Frames get powder-coated, tabs get cleaned, stickers disappear. During those restorations, critical emissions labels were often removed without a second thought. At the time, nobody imagined a future where a missing decal could end registration. Today, that small oversight can stop a renewal cold. Inspectors are trained to look for documentation first and mechanical condition second. Owners know the irony. The FXR still rides better than many newer machines. It stops well, carries loads confidently, and shrugs off miles. Yet legality now depends on paperwork most riders never thought to preserve. Replacing that documentation is rarely possible. Manufacturers do not reissue old labels. States do not make exceptions for reputation. What was once the most respected frame Harley-Davidson built can become a garage ornament simply because it lived long enough to outlast its paperwork. Known for its rigid chassis design, this platform paired Evolution V-twin engines ranging from 1,340 to 1,449 cubic centimeters, producing approximately 58 horsepower and 80 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight averages 635 pounds, with a seat height of 26 inches. Braking uses dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension is conventional forks with dual rear shocks. An original MSRP was $11,995. Reputation does not shield the motorcycle that follows from closer inspection. Number 8. Harley-Davidson Dyna Low Rider. Some motorcycles earn loyalty by staying honest. This one never pretended to be delicate or fashionable. It was built to sit right, pull hard, and take miles without complaint. Riders trusted it for daily use, weekend runs, and long hauls that started before sunrise. That reputation came from balance, not excess. Over time, though, familiarity bred modification, and modification changed how the bike is judged today. The lowrider lived through an era when personal setup mattered more than factory purity. Bars were swapped for comfort, pipes were changed for sound, fueling was adjusted to smooth response. None of that hurt reliability. What it hurt was compliance. Inspections now look for originality where riders once looked for function. Visual checks flag aftermarket parts immediately. Electronic reviews question fueling changes even when drivability improved. Insurance still groups it with younger, faster machines, ignoring who usually rides them. For experienced owners, the frustration is not mechanical. The lowrider still feels right on rough pavement and steady at speed. It carries weight well and responds predictably. What changed is tolerance for individuality. Staying legal now means keeping original components boxed in the garage or reversing choices made years ago. The bike did not age poorly. The rules around it hardened. Balanced ergonomics meet torque-focused performance through a 1,584 cubic centimeter twin-cam 𝐉𝐸-twin, producing approximately 63 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is about 660 pounds, while seat height measures 25.7 inches. Braking consists of dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension uses conventional forks and dual rear shocks, and the starting price was $15,299. Familiarity draws even more attention on the next entry. Number 7. Harley-Davidson V-Rod. Motorcycles became symbols without trying. This one did it by simply existing in the right moment, with the right stance and the right presence. Wide, solid, and unapologetic, it projected authority before the engine ever turned. Riders bought it for what it represented as much as how it rode. Over time, that visibility became a double-edged sword. Anything this recognizable attracts attention, and attention is exactly what modern enforcement thrives on. The Fat Boy spent years being customized more than almost any other Harley. Exhaust systems were swapped immediately, wheels changed, lighting altered for style. Those choices once felt harmless, even expected. Now they are the first things inspectors notice. Noise enforcement programs often use this model as a reference point because it is easy to identify and commonly modified. Visual inspections rarely end quickly. Even stock examples face closer scrutiny simply due to reputation. For older riders, the frustration is personal. The Fat Boy still delivers stable handling, relaxed cruising, and the kind of road presence newer designs struggle to replicate. It remains comfortable and predictable. What changed is the margin for individuality. Keeping one compliant increasingly means resisting the very culture that made it popular. Riders find themselves storing original parts or reverting builds just to renew paperwork. The machine did not lose relevance. The tolerance around it disappeared. Defined by its wide stance and solid mass, this Softail carries a 1,584 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, generating approximately 60 horsepower and between 92 and 100 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is approximately 699 pounds, with a seat height of 25.9 inches. Braking uses dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension is telescopic forks with a hidden rear shock. And MSRP reached $20,399. Comfort and size. Change the stakes with what follows. Number 6. Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. There was a stretch of time when comfort and tradition mattered more than technology, and this motorcycle was built squarely for that rider. It favored an upright posture, relaxed controls, and a riding position meant to last all day without complaint. Saddlebags were functional, wind protection was honest, and the ride felt familiar in a way that earned trust quickly. Owners treated it like a long-term companion rather than a weekend indulgence. That same familiarity led many riders to keep theirs for decades. Maintenance stayed simple, miles accumulated steadily, and changes were made gradually to suit aging bodies and longer trips. Seats were upgraded. Pipes were chosen for tone, not volume. Intake and fueling tweaks were added for smoothness. None of that was reckless. It was practical. The issue now is that inspections no longer care why changes were made. They care whether they match original certification exactly. For many owners, the Heritage Softail Classic still represents what a Harley touring cruiser should feel like. Stable, forgiving, and easy to live with. The mechanicals remain dependable. What creates anxiety is the growing disconnect between real-world use and regulatory expectations. Visual inspections catch altered exhaust routing. Documentation reviews question older emissions equipment. Renewal becomes a process instead of a formality. Riders who thought they were done buying motorcycles now find themselves managing compliance instead of enjoying the road. Built for relaxed distance riding, this model uses a 1,449 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, delivering approximately 60 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight comes in near 705 pounds. Seat height is 26 inches. Braking uses a single front disc and rear disc. Suspension relies on telescopic forks with hidden rear shock, and the original price was $17,499. Touring mass brings heavier consequences with the next motorcycle. If this breakdown is hitting close to home, make sure you subscribe now. These regulations evolve fast, and riders who stay informed avoid surprises. New lists, explanations, and implications are coming. Built for riders who value experience and staying legal. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Electra Glide Classic. Comfort used to be the final argument. When a rider chose this platform, it meant distance mattered more than image. Long days in the saddle, steady highway miles, and predictable handling defined its purpose. Owners trusted it to cross states without drama, carrying weight and weather with equal calm. That reputation made it popular with riders who value reliability over novelty. Popularity brings attention. As touring motorcycles grew larger and more visible, enforcement followed. The Electra Glide Classic now faces inspections that focus less on safety and more on compliance. Exhaust routing, intake configuration, and emissions equipment are checked against original certification. High-mileage examples raise additional questions, even when maintenance has been meticulous. What once passed with a glance now invites measurement. Older riders feel the shift immediately. The bike still delivers comfort, stability, and confidence at speed. Seats remain supportive. Wind protection still works. What changed is the administrative burden. Renewals can involve documentation requests and reversion to stock components. Air-adjustable suspension systems must function correctly. Noise limits are enforced where they were once ignored. None of this reflects how the motorcycle performs, but it determines where it can be ridden legally. Touring duty is handled by a 1,584 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, producing approximately 65 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is roughly 790 pounds. Seat height stands at 27.3 inches. Braking consists of dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension includes telescopic forks with air-adjustable rear shocks. And MSRP began at $18,999. Fairings cannot hide the scrutiny faced by the next machine. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Road Glide. Long-distance riders gravitated toward this layout because it separated comfort from fatigue better than most. A fixed fairing kept weight off the bars, crosswinds felt manageable, and hours disappeared without numbing wrists or shoulders. It earned trust quietly, mile after mile, becoming a preferred choice for riders who measure value in states crossed, not trophies collected. That visibility now works against it. The Road Glide is large, unmistakable, and impossible to overlook during inspections. Touring bikes like this attract closer examination simply because they represent long-term ownership. Inspectors assume modifications exist, and often they are right. Exhaust systems, lighting upgrades, and intake changes were common over the years. Each improvement once felt reasonable. Today, those same changes invite questions that slow renewals and complicate transfers. For riders who still put real miles on their machines, the frustration cuts deep. The Road Glide remains stable, predictable, and confidence-inspiring at highway speeds. Wind protection still works. Luggage capacity still matters. What changed is how compliance is measured. Noise limits are enforced more consistently. Emissions equipment must match certification records exactly. Electronic inspections flag deviations that never affected reliability. The bike rides as well as it ever did, but staying legal requires attention beyond routine maintenance. With its fixed fairing layout, this touring platform uses a 1,584 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, producing approximately 65 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is approximately 800 pounds. Seat height measures 26.3 inches. Braking uses dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension is telescopic forks with air-adjustable rear shocks. And the starting price was $19,999. Style decisions echo louder on the bike that follows. Number 3. Harley-Davidson FXDWG Wide Glide. Long raked forks once meant freedom, not friction. This motorcycle was built to look stretched, relaxed, and unapologetically different from everything lined up beside it. Riders chose it because it felt rebellious, without being fragile. It rolled steady, tracked straight, and delivered torque in a way that encouraged smooth, unhurried miles. That silhouette became its signature, and for years, nobody questioned whether it belonged on the road. Time changed the conversation. The Wide Glide sits between style and scrutiny. Raked geometry, extended front ends, and altered lighting angles now trigger inspection. Many owners personalized early, swapping bars, wheels, exhaust systems, and signals for comfort. Those changes rarely affected safety or reliability. Today, they affect legality. Inspectors measure alignment, visibility, and compliance against modern interpretations, not period intent. Older riders feel tension immediately. The Wide Glide still rides predictably, pulls hard, stays comfortable, yet individuality now demands proof. Long rake geometry frames a 1584 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, delivering approximately 63 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is about 672 pounds with a seat height of 27.4 inches. Braking uses dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension consists of 39mm telescopic forks with dual rear shocks, and MSRP was $15,999. Restraint offers no refuge for the motorcycle just ahead. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Road. King Classic. There was a point when restraint became the ultimate confidence. This motorcycle never needed fairings or excess to prove its worth. It carried itself with balance, visibility, and an honesty that long-distance riders respected. Wind hit your chest. The bars felt natural, and the road stayed part of the experience. That connection is why so many riders kept one long after newer designs appeared. Years of steady ownership created habits. Seats were swapped for comfort, exhausts chosen for tone, lighting adjusted for visibility. None felt radical, only practical riding logic over time. Today, those decisions invite scrutiny. The Road King Classic sits at inspection center because it remains common, recognizable, widely modified. Inspectors expect changes immediately. Visual checks lengthen, documentation matters, familiarity no longer equals leniency. For riders logging serious miles, frustration is sharp. The bike stays stable, forgiving, and comfortable all day long. A stripped touring profile houses a 1584 cubic centimeter twin-cam V-twin, producing approximately 65 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is roughly 795 pounds. Seat height is 27.3 inches. Braking relies on dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension uses telescopic forks with rear air adjustable shocks. And the original price was $19,399. Ubiquity becomes the defining risk with what remains. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Road. King. Nothing about this machine ever asked for attention. It earned respect through miles, not noise, and through consistency, not spectacle. Riders chose it because it worked everywhere and demanded very little in return. It carried weight evenly, tracked straight in weather, and never pretended to be anything other than a motorcycle meant to be ridden hard and often. That honesty places it at the center of regulatory pressure. The Road King is everywhere, known by inspectors and lawmakers. When enforcement tightens, common platforms feel it first, as personalization comfort collides with exacting standards. For veteran riders, the sting runs deeper than paperwork. This motorcycle represents independence earned over decades. It still delivers calm highway stability and comfort. But staying legal may require undoing upgrades or inspections demanding conformity. Built for everyday long-distance use, this platform runs a 1584 cubic centimeter twin-cam Gavi twin, delivering approximately 65 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight sits near 795 pounds. Seat height measures 27.3 inches. Braking consists of dual front discs and a rear disc. Suspension is telescopic forks with rear air adjustable shocks. An original MSRP reached $19,999. What happens next will decide whether legacy alone still counts, when rules finally outweigh riding experience and common sense today. Now, before you go drop a comment with your year, model, and what's been done to it. Pipes, intake, tune, lights, anything. I read everyone, and it helps other riders stay ahead of the next inspection crackdown. If this list saved you a headache, hit like so more riders see it, and subscribe for the next breakdown updates, real receipts, and what to do before renewal day turns into a rejection.